Our focus standard for today's lesson comes from grade 7, Geometry, Standard A. Construct and describe geometrical figures, describing the relationships between them. Our topic comes from AGR, Transforming Figures on a Graph. Our essential question is, how do we plot and construct figures on a coordinate plane, and how can we transform the figure? Please take a moment pausing the video if you need to. Copy down the topic and the central question into your header, along with today's date, set up your question column and your note column, and resume the video when you're ready to begin. And just a quick moment of clarification, we are transforming figures on a graph, and it says in our essential question that we're going to be plotting and constructing figures, so plotting points and graphing them on a coordinate plane, which is another name for a graph. With that quick clarification, let's go ahead and jump right in. In order to begin today, you will first need to construct your graph. Notice I am showing all four quadrants. I have a y-axis here that stretches from +7 to -7. My x-axis is also going from -7 to +7, and I'm going by ones. So pausing the video, please make sure to set up this graph and write down this table. These are going to be the points that I would like you to plot on that graph and label them. So I'm giving you the x, y coordinates. So go ahead, pause the video if you need to get set up, and then we'll begin graphing these points to make our figure. Alright, so at this point you should have your graph set up, and you want to copy down this table if you haven't done so already. And we're going to plot these 4 points. Now I'm going to help you with the first one, and then I'll have you take it from there. So if point A is at -1, -2, and where we find our x-axis, we go to -1, because that is our x value, down to -2, and it matches up, and right there at that point, where those lines, -1 on the x and -2 on the y, intersect, is where we're going to plot our point A. Right there. And we would label that point A. So mark that with an A. Go ahead and do the other 3 points, and let's see the shape that we've graphed. Alright, so if you have graphed these 4 points, this is what your shape should look like. This is the figure. We've created a parallelogram. Now, we've created our original figure. Now we're going to do our first transformation. So notice this notation right here. It's telling us what to do to the original xy coordinates to get our new coordinates. And notice I put this apostrophe. It's called A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. So these are going to be the new transformation of these original points using this rule. Just like in expressions and equations, if you write a number in front of a variable, it tells you to multiply by 2. In this case, multiply by 2 because that's the number in front of the variable. So what we want to do is take each of the xy coordinates, and it says to take y and multiply it by 2, and x and multiply it by 2. So take these numbers, multiply them by 2, and we'll get our new coordinate. So if we did that with the original coordinates for point A, -1, -2, -1 times 2 is -2. The y coordinate, -2 times -2 is -4. So this will be our new point for A prime. Can you figure out what the other 3 points will be if we use this rule? That's right. B prime would be at 6, negative 4. C prime would be at 4, 6. And D prime will be at negative 4, 6. Now that we know what our new points are for our first transformation, please plot it on our graph and check back when you're ready to compare. So how did it turn out? If you plotted these points correctly, our new shape should be A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Did this have the same effect that you thought it would? Notice what's changed. We'll be spending a lot of time in the coming days looking at these types of transformations and describing exact patterns that we see. But for now, I'll tell you to just be on the lookout for them. We're going to do one more transformation to our original figure. Let's take a look. For our second transformation, here's the rule that we're being given. Again, we're going to use this rule on the original xy coordinates for our original figure up here at the top. And what do you think it wants us to do? Saying the rule is x plus 3, y. Well, x plus 3 means we're going to take each of the x part of these coordinates and we're going to add 3 to get the new x coordinate. But notice that nothing is happening to the y part of the coordinate, so we're going to leave the original y the same. So, and since this is our second transformation, we're calling this A double prime. This is the second time that we have changed point A. And we'll do that for B, C, and D as well. So what is the new ordered pair, the new coordinate point for A double prime? You said 2, negative 2, I would agree with you. Because negative 1 plus 3 gives us 2. And then negative 2 is our original y coordinate, and it tells us to keep that the same. So go ahead, using the same rule, please fill out this table for figuring out what the coordinates will be for B double prime, C double prime, and D double prime. Here are the new points that I got. Do you agree? Well, let's go ahead then at this point, and we're going to graph our new points on the same graph. And once again, it's always a good idea to maybe change color, or to at least make sure, notice that I labeled the points from before, A prime, B prime. So I'm going to do the same thing as I plot these points. So go ahead and plot these 4 points to see what happened by adding 3 to our x coordinate. Alright, so in orange, I've plotted the new points for our second transformation. I have A double prime at 2, negative 2, B double prime at 6, negative 2, C prime at 5, 3, and D double prime at 1, 3. So now we have our second transformation. Notice how it changed. So these are the skills that we're going to be practicing in the coming of days, is plotting points, using rules to do transformations to those points, and observing and describing the types of changes and effects that it has on the original figure. That's going to conclude our video for today. Please make sure that your notes are complete and come ready to do more graphing in class.